Hi folks, welcome back to the shop here at Project Pine Hills. Today we're talking about this Olight Seeker 4 Pro in the color Zombie Green. You can see it has a 2600 meter throw and a max output on turbo of 4600 lumens. Let's check it out. All right, here's a look at that Olight Seeker 4 Pro flashlight. Now Olight sent this to me. It's their Halloween edition of this flashlight in Zombie Green. I'll have a link in the video description so you can check it out. Like most Olights, it has that magnetic tail cap. You can see it can support this light up to 360 degrees all the way around, even inverted. Has a good hold even at 90 degrees. And this Seeker is a little bit different than other Olights. If you notice this switch right here, it's actually a dial that you can spin and it automatically locks out. So as soon as you try to turn this flashlight on, it's locked out. And when I touch that button and it's in lockout, you can see it shows me the battery charge status here on the right. It has a little battery icon there. We can tell it's in lockout mode because if we press this button, only the lights on the right light up. But if we turn this knob just a quarter turn, you'll see the lights on the left start to come on. That shows the brightness level over there, and now we know it's out of lockout mode. And if I keep turning this dial, I can actually turn the brightness level up. I turn it, and it will go up to medium, and then it'll go up to high. You can't put it in turbo when it's off. I'm going to take this back down to low. And now when I press the button, the light turns on. And while it's on, I can turn this dial and adjust the brightness level. So if I turn it counterclockwise, you can see it's going down to that lowest setting. And it's got stepless dimming, so there's several different brightness levels for that low light. As I turn that, it still shows it's on low, but it's getting brighter. Now it's on medium, and there's several different brightness levels for medium. And then you go up to high, and there's even more brightness levels on high. So it's got stepless dimming, multiple levels of low, medium, and high light. And if I turn it all the way up, it will output turbo with this dial. You can now see that top bar here on the left, so now it's on turbo. And I can also dial it all the way back down to the lowest mode, which is actually Moonlight. If I turn this light off, and then I hold this button, it'll go into Moonlight mode, and that's a 5 lumen output. But unlike other Olights, I can also get there with the dial. I can go all the way down to Moonlight mode with the dial, and I can go all the way up to turbo. Or I can turn the light off, double tap, and it'll go into turbo immediately. So if I turn it off and double tap, it goes into turbo. Now, if you turn this light off, within about 15 seconds, it will go back into lockout mode. It's actually 10 seconds after this light indicator goes off here once you turn the light off. And it will automatically go back into lockout mode. And it works unlike other Olights. I can take this other Olight here. This is an Olight Baton 3 Pro, and this works like most Olights. If I press the button, it turns on, hold it down. It has different brightness levels. Press the button, it turns off. It's that simple. And if I want to put this in lockout mode, I have to hold this button down, and you'll see that the light comes on real quick, and then it turns off, and now it's in lockout mode. I press that button, I get a red light. So you have to do that to put these in lockout mode. This flashlight goes in lockout mode automatically in about 15 seconds after you turn it off. You can see now it's in lockout mode. If I turn this dial just about a quarter turn, you can see I see some lights here on the left for the brightness level. That means it's out of lockout, and now it'll go back on. So that's how the flashlight works. So another thing to know is when it's not in lockout mode, I can tap and hold like any Olight and get Moonlight mode. And I can press it down and get low, medium, high, and then double tap for turbo. That's the full 4600 lumens of output on this light. Now, if we look around the light here, it's also unlike other Olights. Again, comparing it to this light here. Again, we can compare it to another light here. This is the Warrior Mini 3. It's also in Zombie Green. This is last year's light. They don't have it this year. You can see they do the Zombie Green color for Halloween from time to time with different lights. Now, if we look at this rubber overmold, you can see it has Seeker 4 Pro stamped right into it there. We look around here at the other side. It's documented and tells you it puts out 4600 lumens on turbo. It's got 260 lumens of throw. But I like the fact that it has this rubber overmold on it. Again, unlike these other Olights. Now there's no clip, but you can see here, this is how most Olights come. This one has the rubber overmold, and it's even contoured a little bit here. You can see that. I'll turn it up here on the side. You can see it's contoured here a little bit, you know, for your fingers on the side of the flashlight. And if we look at the front end of this flashlight, you'll see there's 4 LEDs up here, and it's got that crenulated bezel here, all right? So that's for breaking glass and for defense, that sort of thing. Now see here, it does have that magnetic tail cap that Olight's known for, and it also has MCC charging here. That means it supports the magnetic charging cable from Olight. So I can take this charging cable here that doesn't come with it, put it on there. You can see it's showing green there, so it's fully charged, but you can charge it that way. But the way it comes from Olight is they send it with this holster, and you can take this light and put it down in here. That's why it doesn't have a clip on it. Part of the reason it doesn't have a clip on it. We put that light down in there, and the holster has one of those MCC connections. But you can see in the bottom of this holster, it has one of those MCC style chargers in the bottom. That connects to a USB-C port. So you can charge up via USB-C. So you just take this light, put it here in the holster, it bottoms out here in the bottom, hits that charging port, and then we come over here with the USB-C cable, plug it in, And now we're charging that flashlight. You can see it shows it's charging there, right there on the battery status indicator, so you know it's in charging mode. That's how this light comes. It also comes with a holster bracket right here, so you could mount this on the wall either with this adhesive tape, comes with 2 pieces of that, or you can screw it in here through these holes and mount this bracket to a wall, or I think you can also belt mount this bracket if you wanted to. But anyway, the idea is that you clip the holster in here and you can mount the holster that way. So you could have this wall mounted if you wanted to. Push the clip in, of course that lifts out, but it comes with that. It also comes with a USB-A to USB Type-C charging cable. Now let's take a quick look at the battery. You can see it's a larger flashlight. That means it's going to have a larger battery in it. Take the battery out, and you can see it has a large 21700 battery in it. That allows you to have that high 4600 lumen output and also gives you a really long runtime. So that's the Olight Seeker 4 Pro in Zombie Green. Again, kind of a fun color there from Olight. I do like this UI. You can see this UI doesn't have just an outer ring here that spins. The entire button or switch spins like the crown of a watch. So I really like that UI. I could see them putting on a lot more flashlights. So there's advantages and disadvantages to the fact that this flashlight auto locks out as opposed to the way most Olights work. The benefit is you don't have to memorize how to lock it out. Like on this light, you have to hold down the switch, wait for the light to flash, then it goes off, then you press this button and you see a red light there on the switch. You don't have to do that. It always goes to lockout mode, but there's also some advantages. For example, I could turn this switch and I could see ahead of time before I turn it on what brightness level it's in, right? So there it is on high. I can spin it down to medium, down to low, even get it down to the lowest brightness setting before I turn it on. The other advantage is it gives you that stepless dimming. So I can have several different high, medium, and lows and dim this up and down to whatever level I want, not just be set on 3 or 4 different modes. So that's really nice. And the other benefit is it lets you turn it all the way down to Moonlight mode, and you can turn it all the way up to turbo. That might be more intuitive for some people, so they don't have to know to double tap to get the max output. They don't have to know to tap and hold to get that Moonlight mode. So 3 benefits to this dial if you're willing to accept the trade-off that it locks out all the time. Again, that lockout feature you might like that. Here's just a quick size comparison to the Warrior Mini 3 and the Baton 3 Pro. So you can see the Seeker is just a little bit larger, but it does have that larger 21700 cell battery in it, which gives it that longer runtime and that higher brightness level. Now, when this is in lockout mode and I tap this button, I can't turn it on to do anything. Even if I hold it down for Moonlight mode, it's not going to turn on. But I can change that behavior. If I loosen up this tail cap, disconnecting the battery, and then I hold this button down while I turn the cap and tighten the battery back up, you'll see this light's going to come on. I hold that for about 3 seconds. And now, when I turn this light off and I let it go back into lockout mode, I'll be able to operate it like I can this light. I'll be able to hold this button down and go directly into Moonlight mode and then tap it and turn it off. So after about 15 seconds, so now I can take this light and I'll tap it to confirm it's in lockout mode. But if I tap and hold this button, even though it's locked out, I can still go to Moonlight mode. So that's an option you can set either way. That's up to you. To set it back, you do the same thing. You just loosen up that battery, hold the switch down while you screw the battery in. The light's going to come on, and now it's going to turn off after about 3 seconds, and that means you've set it back to the default behavior. So now it won't go into Moonlight mode when it's locked out. All right, folks, there you have it. That's the Olight Seeker 4 Pro in Zombie Green, just in time for Halloween. I'll have a link in the video description so you can check it out. And let me know in the comments what you think of this Seeker 4 Pro. Really interested in what you think of this UI. And please remember to like and subscribe. Those actions help me to continue to bring content to you here on the Project Pine Hills channel. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video.